So it is January the 25th in the year 2025. It's just around 18 minutes after 12. It's a cool Saturday after lunch. Outside is a bit cold, but inside, because you're getting heat, it's going to be a bit warm inside because of the heat that you're getting. Our highs today is supposed to be around 32 degrees. Right now it's around 30. Thank God after tomorrow, we're going to be going up into the 40s. Don't matter what, you could never get accustomed to the cold here in New York, especially you're born and you live in a tropical country for most of your life. You can never get accustomed to the cold. Anyhow, my focus here is on what's going on with AFC and the PNC. Yes, I voted for the AFC, like a lot of my friends, 2011, 2015. And it seems as though this second Commonsburg marriage is going through some hiccups. Nigel is saying that it's on life support. I think they have to sort out the differences by the time March the 31st. I was reading this Commonsburg, this accord was the wording was printed on Facebook, and I was going through some of the wording, and there's supposed to be a confidentiality clause. In other words, they were both supposed to be keeping quiet, but it seems as though the AFC decided to release their side of it. So maybe speculation is rife as to whether Nigel is forcing himself to be the presidential consensus candidate, and Norton probably pushing back against that. If some of you can remember, I also have the video where he said that he was given the full go-ahead, the full blessings by the executive, the party's the top polling body, that he's going to represent in the PNC, but he's saying that there's a clause where he can determine by himself if he wants to drop out and give somebody a chance. So, in this video, you're going to be seeing in a short clip the female reporter asking some questions to party leader Aubrey Compton Norton in terms of statements made by Nigel, and Norton is going to be replying that as far as he's concerned, the main enemy is the PPP, and he believes that they're going to be having continuous talks, and therefore he's confident before March the 31st, something is going to be worked out. I looked at Many Mills, one of Many Mills' Facebook video. She has a lot of following in Guyana and the United States. And Many Mill came out playing, saying that Aubrey Norton is not the right man to lead the coalition. And what I found in the comments is that it seems that the older people are clinging to Norton, and at least a percentage of the younger people, I can't see how many percentage, but they seem to be clinging to Nigel. Some people are talking about who's been able to articulate, charismatic, that kind of stuff they're using. But to be fair to Norton, I mean, I'm not a fan of Norton, but to be fair to him, he knows politics more than David Hines, as well as newcomer Nigel. Remember, I voted for the AFC twice, but I must say Norton has more experience than both of them combined. So that's not a factor you have to look at, but I'm not certain how they're going to sort out this, who's going to be leading the coalition in the 2025 elections, which is a high stakes. Only time will tell. I have attached on a video to Norton's this brief press conference. The PNC had a protest last week. The protest was in connection with biometrics. The protest was for the removal of CLAUDETTE. I noticed in that protest there were three prominent persons: the former Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Karen Cummins, His Worship the Mayor, ALFRED Mentor. You're going to be seeing him talking in this video. And you're also going to be seeing the lawyer, Darren, He is going to be giving his comments. I'm not going to say any more. Just listen for yourselves. Have a happy Saturday.
Okay, I can start there. Mr. Norton, this week we saw that the PNU and AFC signed an MOU. However, Tuesday evening we saw Mr. Hughes saying absolutely not to you being presidential candidate. With the party supposed to come to a decision by March 31st, do you think that the conflict there, with you maintaining that PNCR, the presidential candidate, should come from there, and AFC holding a different view, do you believe that this would somehow hinder any sort of cooperation between the two parties?
I believe that we have the ability to engage and resolve whatever issues emerge.
Thank you.
But Mr. Martin, a follow up there, please. Are you staying on your position that you will be the presidential candidate?
I have long said that the PNC Congress said that I will be the presidential candidate, and if there is going to be any other as it relates to the PNC, I will be the person to determine. I wouldn't venture into speaking past that.
Okay, and just one last follow-up from me. Mr. Martin, do you believe that these comments from Mr. Hughes somehow would have diminished, for lack of a better word, the united front that the opposition is trying to portray?
Political parties take their positions. I'm a matured politician. I have to look at the situation and work towards coalition to achieve our objective. Our major objective is to get rid of a corrupt, incompetent political party named the PPP, in which they are misusing and mismanaging our resources, and therefore they are the major enemy of the people of Guyana, and our focus will be laser beam on getting rid of the People's Progressive Party.
GECOM's decision not to use biometric at the upcoming election, I believe, the declaration of war on the Guyanese people. What GECOM is saying to us is that we are not interested in having a free and transparent election. What GECOM is saying to us is that we are going to do what it takes to put the PPP in power. What GECOM is saying to us is that we are biased and that we are going to do whatever it takes to ensure that the PPP retains power. GECOM is not interested in transparent election, and I'm calling upon GECOM to revise that decision. We know that the list is bloated. We saw what transpired in 2020 elections. I was there and I saw the recount. I was there at the recount. I observed the recount that was provided there. And we saw the PPP steal this election. And what GECOM is doing is encouraging fraud. What GECOM is doing is endorsing the PPP's years of rigging and saying to the PPP, okay, let us thief this election. Yes, PPP, come and thief this election. That is what GECOM has done with this decision. GECOM has clearly showed that it is biased. GECOM has given the PPP license to thief and to steal this election. What GECOM has done, they have declared war on the people of Guyana, that there is no democracy. That is what GECOM has done, that has conspired with the PPP to thief the coming up election. That is what was done by GECOM, by this decision not to use biometrics. Biometrics bring transparency. What we have in 2020, you have the dead voting, persons who not in Guyana voting. This is unacceptable, that they would have conspired with the PPP to steal the election. That is what was done. Thank you.
This morning, I'm here again along with my other comrades to protest the need for biometrics. Protest the need for us to have a clean voting list. To protest and stand in solidarity with my comrades, and not only my comrades, with all the people of this country, to have a clean voters list. Why a clean voters list is important? When the current government was in opposition, they spoke of a clean voters list. They spoke about the need to have a clean voters list. We were working towards getting that in place while we were in government. Now the shoes on their feet. They are now not wanting to have this. I've seen in the media recently where the Claudette Singh suggested that there's not enough time for us to have a clean vote with this. I am very disappointed in such a statement. I am shocked that such a statement could come from the Madam CLAUDETTE, who is the chairman of the Elections Commission, and to say that, especially even when we had the last local government election, a year or two before that election, she herself were working on plans to have that. And if you're working on plans to have that at the level of the local government, which was held since 2023, and you had 2-year advance on that time, how is it now you could come in the year of election to claim that we don't have enough time? You had more than enough time to have a clean voters list and to have biometrics put in place and the necessary training that had to be put in place to be able for us to move in that particular direction. So I'm extremely shocked and disappointed that that statement would come from her and come from within the Election Commission. I'm very concerned, I'm deeply concerned about this election itself if we don't have biometrics and we don't have a clean voters list. Because if we don't have that kind of a situation, how could you say the election is transparent? How could you say the election could hold up to the integrity that we can hold up? How could you say the election is free and fair from people interfering with the process? So it's important that biometrics be put in place, whatever measure that has to be put in place, or however we have to treat with it, and even if it's a slight delay to allow for biometrics to be put in place so that we could conduct the election as a fair and a solid one. The need for biometrics has to be put in place, and it has to be put in place now so that we can have an election that is free, fair, and one that is transparent to all and sundry in this country and the rest of the world.